Hello. 4 per thousand is an exciting concept. It's also a wonderful group of people in which we have been happy to participate during 6 years now. I will propose you a farmers project to transform the concept into massive implementation. In Madrid already, we have discussed the potential of soil conservation, of carbon sequestration to improve our farms. Here is the farm of Aziz El Abidine in Morocco. Traditional practices in Europe look like this. Conservation systems represent only 5% of annual crops. In Africa, you also see bare soil and dust in traditional practices. Conservation systems can be made by all farmers around the world and applied to all systems, including animal husbandry, trees and vegetables. The impact of farmers networking is visible here when Argentinian farmers operate together with African farmers in different countries. The results are absolutely amazing. Here, the income of farmers has been multiplied by 30. 30 is the right figure. It means increasing family life. The challenge of scaling up has been stated by United Nations Food System Summit recently, saying healthy and resilient food systems are the foundation of sustainable development. High adoption of highly productive conservation systems is vital for food security, especially when you think that 1.5 billion of people, additional people, will come in Africa before 2050. On the planet, we have conservation farming with more than 40 years of experience, sustainable and resilient, improving continuously. But only 12% of the crops are under conservation in cultivable areas. We don't need to transform everything, neither reinventing new concepts. We need to spread conservation farming everywhere. Just imagine, with 10% growth per year of the crop surface, we could achieve in 2030 to have 30% of surface under conservation. And in 2040, we could achieve 80% under conservation. This is feasible if we want. I'll show you how. 4 per thousand has achieved to build its operational framework. On the top, you see the beneficiaries, which are producers and facilitators, people who are working with farmers to support them on the ground to achieve the transformation of their farms. On the right, you see all the facilities scientists, experts, and members of 4 per thousand can bring when they work together to enable farmers and facilitate the work of farmers on the ground. REC soil, recarbonization of global soil, is a global frame of global soil partnership of FAO. It includes voluntary guidelines for sustainable management. It includes soil doctors, which is a methodology by which farmers, which are more experienced, can support farmers who are beginners in new systems. It's farmers to farmers approach, which is exactly what farmers do in our network. That's why it really fits to our needs. On the right, you see the carbon market path, which is approach of carbon results, carbon credits, carbon markets. And the key part is the evaluation of soils by multiple criteria by the MRV protocol, which has been established by the global community of soil scientists. Many of them are in the 4 per thousand. And this has been a huge work, which is achieved now getting a consensus about the methodology to assess soils. How does a carbon project work on the field? Here is the example of APAD, the French Farmers Association, in which 250 farmers has been certified under a label in the heart of soils, and they gather the tons of carbon which they have in their soil. They approach companies or collectivities which pay them to offset their greenhouse gas emissions and achieve their neutrality. The heart of it is a certificate. It proves the amount of offset thanks to the farmers' practices. And this is under supervision of official low carbon label of French Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Agriculture. At global level, there are many different schemes and methodology, including of global operators, mainly private ones. It was difficult, and it is difficult for us. We have tried to evaluate them, but we still need to work, and we count on you for this. APRESID in Argentina has also a certification scheme named Agricultura Certificada, which has started long before we started in France. The points of vigilance to ensure farmers' participation. The first is that the new systems must ensure better results for farmers, stable income, high yields, etc., and carbon sequestration on large scale must be accessible to most of farmers. Results of the change must be visible in the fields by farmers, but also by citizens. Policymakers must guarantee the availability of enabling technologies on the long term. We cannot afford to see one tool suddenly banned because one politician has found it is a good idea. We use the power of the groups of farmers to ensure the transition. The farmers' organizations leading the change must be recognized by policymakers and stakeholders as legitimate operators of the transition. Data collection systems must be simple, easy to use, and cheap. That means obligatory digital. And we will work with GODAN, Global Open Data for Agriculture and Nutrition, which is a global partner operating on open data and duties. The price of ton of carbon equivalent must be high enough and stable to pay the effort. Currently, the market is between €4 to €100, very variable. The added value should help the farmers to change their farming systems. Companies or collectivities must take care of some points. The first one, is it a real way to support agricultural transition? This is an opportunity to support a real project of real farmers that makes sense in the fields and for farmers and for citizens, and which has a real impact on the environment and the climate. It's a real project with real results. It's not a story. There are enough storytellers running around telling stories which bring nothing in real life. Reduction of greenhouse gas is gain of time and money for the farmer, but carbon sequestration is much more. The increase of soil organic matter improves all the related ecological functions. And this is, at the end, a real transformation of the ecosystem. The price of carbon must enable to fund the development of a serious project and create a dynamic among new adopters to change their practices. And beware of greenwashing. Policymakers have the responsibility to stimulate a global carbon market. All the COP until now have failed to achieve this. The price of carbon and its stability must enable long-term investment by farmers. Farmers must keep ownership of their data. We need simple system of verification and certification, means no bureaucracy, please. Digital on smartphone and blockchain with satellite measurement can achieve this. And good news, in many countries, including poor countries, including in remote places in the countryside, most farmers have smartphones. The added value must help the farmers' organizations to grow and serve the farmers. Our expectations is to get a multi-party agreement on a methodology with scientists, with farmers at international level, with the recognition of sustainable practices by farmers, conservation farming and the increase of organic matter in soils. And this is our first indicator in the field. Is also to make carbon offsetting and markets favorable to farmers, a way to accelerate our transition. We need support of public society, public policies and society. And these together will enable to move from scientific concept to massive implementation by farmers. It's time for all to engage with farmers, saving our soils. Now, my question is to you, what's next? Thank you very much.